What's up, family? It's Kahir the Conqueror here. A few videos ago on my channel, I talked about growth. With growth, it's not something, unless you mean like physical height, weight, and stuff like that, it's not tangible. So it's not easy to see when it's happening, or it's not easy to measure. It's not linear amongst everybody. It doesn't go in the same direction all the time. Progress and growth interchangeable in this context, and you might not be able to gauge how much you fully are progressing and how much you've grown until way after some sort of measurable indicator, if that makes sense. Like going from 15 to mid 20s can be like that. So you don't really think about each and every single day, oh, when I was 15, but then after a certain point, you can reflect along that path of, wow, things really have changed. But I've peeped though lately, and I think it's important to share, even though that growth and that progress might not be tangible. I don't think it's good to look around the corner every single day, if that makes sense. But a sign that you're growing, that you've grown, that you're progressing, that you're evolving, just a sign, is when you recognize certain habits, actions, behaviors that you exhibit, you do, or don't do, or could do, that are getting in your own way of success, that are hindering you from whatever your goal is. And the reason that it's a sign, and I'm not pretending this is revelation, but like I think you can miss it, is because usually, number one, we need to see something tangible or proof, immediate evidence. But when you recognize that you are in your own way, you're doing something that you could change, that you can implement, that's when you can really tell you're growing and evolving and no longer a version of you that you might have been. But now you still have to decide and move forward. For example, to kind of paint the picture of what I'm talking about so you can surmise this better. For me, I won't pretend like I was the most unhealthy person in the world, but I didn't have the healthiest habits all around, and I still don't. But there became desires that I always had deep down, but I wanted to act on more. I wanted to really make manifest over whatever period of time that would be. And that's still a process. And we all talk that talk. So that's why you really can't, like, we talk that talk. Everybody, I want to do this, I'm going to do that, blah, blah, blah. But like, how many people do? And then how many people are consistent? And that's what I'm getting at. But when I realize, like, okay, I have this image in mind, I have this desire in mind, these habits. But over here, what I'm currently doing in the moment, what I'm currently doing, the unhealthy things, they coincide with one another. So eventually, you can't teeter along the fence forever. You got to pick a side. You got to make a decision, make choices. And that's a part of the fight. So realizing that I got unhealthy behaviors that directly coincide with healthy desires, healthier behaviors, which one will you choose? And realizing that and recognizing that in real time is one of the most obvious signs that you are closer to becoming this than you are that. But you're still in the middle, or you might even be here and see that. So now you have to go along that path. If that makes sense. Because I just think it's important, like, you might be further along than you think. And do you know how much it takes for somebody to admit that to themselves? Because that's one thing we don't like to do. I just spoke about that in my most recent video. Accountability, admitting that you are wrong or that you're messing up or you're selling yourself short. So for somebody to own up to, you know what, I say I want to do this, but I'm not really doing it. I'm making excuses. I'm beating around the bush. I'm being lazy. I'm procrastinating. I'm making choices that directly coincide with this. How can I really get there if I'm shooting myself in the foot? I'm holding myself back. You can't blame that on anybody else. You want love or something like that, but you self-sabotage every time an opportunity comes. Then you're making decisions that coincide with either or side of the fence. So when you recognize that, you're growing, you're evolving. You want a better job or career or something like that. And then you're lazy and you don't show up to work and you get penalized or fired for simple things like coming in late or not meeting task deadlines and things like that. So you're making decisions that coincide. And there's so much power in realizing and recognizing where you are holding yourself back. That's a sign of growth. And then once you see it, now you simply have to challenge yourself and take the steps. Be proactive about actually making those decisions and leaving the ones that are harming you. And you now recognize that, leave them behind. And that's the other part of the process. Much easier said than done, but possible. And this is something that really helped me because I've been on a journey just trying to figure out life, trying to be better, trying to maximize my potential, trying to achieve goals and personal things to me that I pray to my Lord about. But then when being faced with, all right, you're talking all this talk, but now you have these decisions that are like a barrier that you're making, this lifestyle you're living, these habits that you have that are directly interfering with progress to get there. That's growth when you recognize it. That means that you are a better version of yourself than you think. Because we all have the potential to be our best selves, but it's those decisions, it's those actions, it's that accountability, it's the ego battles and stuff like that. Our own self that can hold us back from becoming that on the other side. So if you can recognize that and you can hold yourself accountable and you can realize and see the decisions you're not making or are making, the mistakes that you make, whatever habits and behaviors that are holding you back, you become a much more tougher person to stop, a more well-rounded version, a more powerful version. Because what else can hold you back if you're not? Nothing else should have that much more power over you.